enters the plains by this weekend. Out ahead of it, we're looking at southerly winds. The Gulf of Mexico open for business. In the mid-levels of the atmosphere, though, those winds more at a west to east direction, adding to some spin in the atmosphere. The bottom line is that we're certainly going to see a rainy setup and a stormy setup this weekend. Texas into Oklahoma, up through Missouri on Saturday. Sunday, East Texas into Louisiana. The Mississippi River Valley starts to get the heavy rain and the thunderstorm activity. And by Monday, stretches from the Mississippi River Valley all the way to the east and really all the way to the East Coast. By the time we get into Monday, we are going to see severe weather throughout the plains this weekend because of this next storm. And on the backside of this, cold weather still, Alex, maybe some snow.
Absolutely. We're going to be tracking it very closely. This is set up now as we head to Christmas Eve. Trough in place in the west with our upper low diving south and eastbound. And what we'll notice here east of that and southeast of that, an area of low pressure at the surface begins to develop and begin to move on off towards the north and the east. As that happens, flings moisture back into where we have some of that colder air and really sets the stage for not just snow, but also potentially icy conditions as well. So here's our Saturday, getting going with the snow across parts of New Mexico. That'll expand a bit as we head into our Sunday. Western Texas getting to the Oklahoma panhandle. You'll be dealing with the snow. Then on Monday, you notice here with the pink areas, that's where we'll have a bit of a more of a rain and snow mix. On the backside, all snow, and it's going to pile up out there. We don't have some specifics just yet on exactly how much, but you can clearly pick out where we're thinking some of the highest totals of snow will be here across New Mexico and into western portions of Texas there, particularly around the panhandle. Mark?
And if you need more proof about how tough travel is today, we got some new video to show you. How about this from Spanish Fort, Alabama? This storm is giving extremely heavy rain. Those streets look like rivers there in Alabama, and more rain on the way. Right now, we are continuing to follow a live view from one of our storm trackers, Kelly Williamson. He is now into Mississippi, was through Arkansas. Look at this slate gray sky and the buckets of rain coming down.
Yeah, and that's, again, one of the issues here. I know we talk a lot about the severe threat, damaging winds, hail, yes, tornadoes, but you also have to watch out for the heavy rain, and that can lead to some problems with flooding and travel issues as well.
So within this area, as we go into the afternoon, despite the fact that we do have some rain here, there could actually be more storms and bigger storms that form in the peak heating of the day, late afternoon and early evening storms with a tornado threat. The Mississippi River Valley up through the Tennessee Valley, big time nasty weather on the way. And thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Mark Elliott.
And I'm Alex Wallace. Tornado warnings, they started before dawn this morning. That's in parts of Arkansas. Before it's over, an outbreak that could affect 60 million people.
So we've already seen one death from these storms. A person died after a tree fell on a house in Pope County, Arkansas. And that's just one of many areas that we continue to watch for some really nasty weather. Another one is here in the Memphis area. A live look now shows some of that break in the cloud deck, some peaks of sun, especially if you look towards the left side of the screen. You can actually see the brightening of the sky there. That an indicator that we could see, unfortunately, bigger storms later because we're getting more heating from the sun now.
Yeah, so that is no doubt about it a big concern here for us in and around Memphis. Counterintuitive to what most people may be thinking. Oh, we got some sunshine, but that's not what you want to be dealing with.
Our severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes, has been tracking this whole outbreak and the setup for it from the lab here at the Weather Channel.
And for the first time in more than a year, Dr. Forbes giving a Torcon of 8. Pretty high on the scale, Dr. Forbes. What's coming together to make that Torcon value so high?
Well, Alex, it's one of these situations that I've been calling spring in December. It looks like a spring severe weather situation with spring-like temperatures, but yet we have those spring to even December type upper air strong jet streams aloft. And when those come together, it means spring-like tornado situations and tornado outbreaks. We've already had a lot of dozens of damaging wind reports, severe wind reports coming up across Arkansas, southeast Mississippi, and into Illinois. Right at the moment, there are no tornado warnings, but we have seen scatterings of those. Most of them have so far been along in little circulations along leading edges of lines like these that have severe thunderstorm warnings for southeast Illinois, southwest Indiana, and then from the Boot Heel, Missouri, down into parts of Arkansas. Let's take a look here. We do have a tornado watch that goes until 9 o'clock. Central and southern Indiana down into western parts of Kentucky, and as obviously you see additional areas. And then a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch for parts of West Tennessee down into eastern Arkansas and western parts of Mississippi. That means the potential for long-lived violent tornadoes. Those are the kind that can be particularly destructive. Brand new tornado warning for Gibson County in Indiana. And it's not just where those tornado watches are either, because later on, beyond those time frames, we get storms pushing across into Michigan, into eastern Kentucky and Tennessee, and then building farther southeast than where they are right now in Arkansas, down into parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, where that is the area with the sun coming out that Mark and Alex were talking about. We could get the worst situation of all. So those are the areas I've given torcons of 8. Northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, west and middle Tennessee. 7s for eastern Arkansas, where the squall line is moving into right now. 6 up around the Ohio Valley, western Kentucky, where the storms are moving in right now. And 3 to 5s additional areas. There's that brand new tornado warning embedded in the line of thunderstorms there that I was showing you. And let's take a look at some of these storms. There have been, at times, severe thunderstorm warnings for the surging parts of these bow echoes here that have been in parts of Indiana and Illinois, coming down now through the Lafayette area. There's the tornado warning for Gibson County in Indiana, just to the well across the border there, south of Vincennes, Indiana, and north of the Evansville, Indiana area. Then we have farther down the line that storms blasting in right now across Paducah. They're not severe warned, but you could still get some trees or at least power outages. And then a couple of different looking storms. North of Jonesboro, a backward C-shaped damaging wind type threat. South of Jonesboro, this type of storm that's hooking around. So this could become a tornado warned storm before too long. Craighead and additional counties there with severe thunderstorm warnings. Off to the north and east of Little Rock, Lone Oak, Prairie, and White counties, and additional counties with severe thunderstorm warnings. So additional severe thunderstorms could pop up well ahead of the main threat in parts of Alabama, and we'll continue to monitor this area for additional development of what could be those very dangerous tornadoes. Let's go back now to Mark and Alex.
Thanks, Dr. Forbes. A busy afternoon indeed, and we'll be following all these storms throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, we got Mike Seidel. He's in Memphis, one of the spots that is going to be dealing with that high risk for tornadoes.
And Mike, we've been following some breaks in the cloud deck. You seen any sun where you are?
Indeed, we've got some sun right now coming through the stratus deck. We've also had a few very quick showers, raining hard for about 2 or 3 minutes, and they move on basically from north to south. We're going to be following what happens to our south and west. Now, Dr. Forbes mentioned most of those tornado-warned storms on the line have not produced any twisters. What we're concerned about are those discrete supercells that form ahead of the line, and we're going to be watching that for the next 3 to 4 hours. But you can see south and west across the river there, over towards I-55, some blue in the alto cumulus there behind the stratus deck. So we've got heating. It is 71 degrees right now in Memphis. The record high today is 73. We tied a record yesterday at 70. This is more like mid-March, mid to late March here in the Mid-South. And the wind, too, is blowing right up the river. We've gusted almost to 30 miles an hour. So it's a breezy, very warm, and muggy day, too. The dew points are in the mid-60s. So this is a highly juiced-up air mass. It's just now, again, watch the radar, watch us, and we'll keep you safe, but be on guard. The hourly shows you what's going on. The forecast, the storms, the worst threat till about 5 to 6 tonight. Then it all moves off to the east. We will come back. We'll keep you updated.
I'm severe weather expert Dr. Greg Forbes with an update. We have 2 tornado warnings, a brand new one in South Carolina along a frontal zone that's across that area. We've been watching thunderstorms marching across the Ohio-Mississippi Valley area where there is a tornado warning there. And then just to the north of Columbia, South Carolina, brand new tornado warning. Both of these are indicated by Doppler radar. We have not had human confirmation of those. Gibson County in Indiana, the little dog leg in the line there just to the north of Fort Branch is heading up to the area just to the south of Patoka. That would be heading it toward areas like Mount Olympus at about 120, Petersburg at about 233. Right now it's just to the south of the Lyles area in Indiana. Then over into the Columbia, South Carolina area, again, it's a circulation along the leading edge of a line of storms that is pushing its way off to the northeast. This is not going as fast as the others. They're going about 55 to 60 miles per hour in the Midwest. This one is going about 30 miles per hour. Right now, very close. You can see that little bit of a dog leg there. So that would be the circulation right there. So that would take it near probably just south of Peak, north of Blythewood, and then up into the area, maybe just a little bit of south of Longtown. The time frame for that, the Longtown area, about 2:41. Right now, it is very close to that Peak area. So be on the lookout for tornadoes in these areas and additional areas. Right now, Davies, Knox counties have tornado warnings. Let me see if I can jump back up and catch those. That may be the same storm, another particular cell right along the line there. So let me jump back down and see if I can catch that one. It's the storm just farther to the north along the line in Davies and Knox counties there. Another little dogleg kink that is showing up right about there. So that is going to take it up to areas west and north of Barr, south and east of the Vincennes, Indiana area. So getting to be a pretty volatile afternoon. Keep it tuned to the Weather Channel, or at least if you have to go out and travel, keep yourself with some way of seeing if you have a tornado warning in the area. Let's go now to Mark and Alex.
All right, thanks so much, Dr. Forbes. And of course, we continue to monitor the threat for the serious and, of course, dangerous conditions in Alabama as well.
Yeah, we want to check in with the National Weather Service in Birmingham and warning coordination meteorologist John DeBlock. Thanks so much for spending the time with us today.
Good afternoon. Good to be here with you.
It does appear that your threat may certainly start now, but could certainly stretch into the nighttime hours. Is that something that you guys are watching as well?
Absolutely. Those nighttime tornadoes are really our biggest concern. I think right now we're really missing that lift mechanism. A little bit too warm aloft and not enough lift mechanism to really trigger those thunderstorms. Once we get that lift, we're very concerned about this evening.
And as far as the most concern that you're having, what modes of severe are you most looking at?
Well, certainly the threat for tornadoes is our biggest concern. The large hail and the thunderstorm wind gusts will also be with that. But those discrete supercells that are capable of producing tornadoes, perhaps the violent long track tornadoes that we're concerned about also in Mississippi and Tennessee, hopefully that will stay off to our northwest, but it's still a concern for the folks in Alabama and the Mississippi Valley.
Just a second or two left here, but is there a particular starting time that you think those storms really will develop in your area?
We're looking for a starting time now after about 6 p.m. for the most significant storms.
All right, thanks so much for spending the time with us today. I know you guys have a very busy day and night ahead, so thanks for reaching out with us. John DeBlock from National Weather Service in Birmingham.
All right, well, tornadoes certainly a huge threat, but not the only one. And we're going to be watching this again as we head in through tonight from the Gulf Coast up to the Great Lakes. Welcome back. Continuing to follow the strong and severe storms that we're dealing with here in the middle of the country, particularly now into portions of the Mississippi River Valley. PDS watch basically means particularly dangerous situation there, and that includes the Memphis area. North of there, another tornado watch until 9 o'clock. Louisville, you're included. Back up to even Indianapolis included in that tornado watch. And you can see what's going on. Got a long line of storms here that's in place from parts of Arkansas, moving now through southwestern sections of Indiana. And along the line here, a couple of tornado warnings in place. The newest one is including Davies and Knox counties until 2:30 here for us into Indiana. So again, we're going to be making sure we're getting into that safe zone. Innermost portion of your home, basement if you have it. Getting away from the windows is your best bet. If this thing holds together, you can see some of the spots that will be impacted. 237 right around Steele, heading towards Plainville right around 239 there for you. Storms are moving on off towards the north and the east. Pretty fast clip, 45, 50, even 60 miles per hour. These storms are moving. Then as we zoom all the way now into parts of the southeast. Out ahead of the main system, we've had a line of storms that's developed here into the central portions of South Carolina. So there's Columbia to your north and west. You can see this line right along that. That has developed some rotation. So watch out here, Fairfield, Lexington, and Richland counties until 2:45. You're dealing with a tornado warning there. So again, out ahead of the main system, this long line has developed here into South Carolina, and that is now producing at least the potential for a tornado. Seek shelter in those areas, along with the risk for a straight line damaging winds right along that line. There's that risk right in that area for that tornadic activity. So Jennings, 226, Rockton around 233. You may be dealing with this dangerous storm. Moving back into the middle of the country now, this is into Arkansas. East of Little Rock, a couple of storms that continue to fire up. Moving on off towards the north and the east, severe thunderstorm warnings with those. A bit of damaging winds, and look at the lightning showing up with these storms as well. So a lot of dangers to contend with these storms outside of the wind and hail and potential tornadoes. Lightning also an issue. We head up just to the east of Jonesboro. Also a severe thunderstorm warning. Lake City, you're included, as well as Nettleton. Also heads up there as well. Got some storm reports coming in and around the Jonesboro area of some of the hail coming in. Hail size is getting up close to 2 inches. So we're talking some big hail here across portions of Arkansas. So again, lots of risks here with these storms as they're moving on through central portions of Arkansas on off towards the north and the east, and more storm damage issues off towards the north. And we're just getting started. This afternoon. We're going to be dealing with more storms throughout the evening as well as into tonight. And of course, with all this active weather, travel is going to be impacted, Mark.
Hopefully people pack their patience at the airports, because it's going from bad to worse now that we're getting even more severe. Even out ahead of the severe storms, just the plain old clouds and rain are doing a number on travel. How about this view here across the nation's capital? You can see the Washington Monument. You can see the Smithsonian there. Man, it is going to be kind of a dreary day across the district. Low clouds, drizzle, and airport delays because of that. We've also seen some significant delays around New York City. This is the top of the rock, a view that you don't always get to see because they don't tilt the camera down towards the fence all that often. Usually it's pointed out over the city, but if they were to do that, you'd see nothing but fog and cloud and that low cloud deck. In this case, you can see the foreground, but in the distance there, it's all the clouds. And because of that low cloud deck, big time delays. How about LaGuardia? About a 2.5 hour delay still. Philadelphia over an hour. Newark Liberty, 3.5 hour delays now. Not with any severe weather, just clouds and rain. And you know what, as we go through tomorrow, more of the same. Some delays still lingering in New York City, big delays possible in Atlanta because of lingering showers and storms there, and some delays in New Orleans and D.C. That's an area that we have to watch as well. We've got watches and warnings ongoing. We'll bring you the update on the severe weather coming up.
View from above, brought to you by Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Explore more at kennedysspacecenter.com.